What if I told you that one fighter transformed MMA from a niche sport into a global entertainment empire? That a kid from Dublin didn't just change the game, he became the game. This is the story of how Conor McGregor became the undisputed marketing king of mixed martial arts. Before McGregor, MMA fighters were athletes. After McGregor, they became brands. He didn't just throw punches. He threw the entire playbook out the window and rewrote the rules of combat sports marketing. From a plumber's apprentice collecting welfare checks to the highest paid fighter in UFC history, McGregor's rise wasn't just about what happened inside the octagon. It was about what he built outside of it. Conor Anthony McGregor was born in Dublin in 1988, and his early life was far from glamorous. Working as a plumber's apprentice and collecting unemployment benefits, McGregor was just another working-class Irish kid with big dreams. But even then, something was different about him. While other fighters talked about wanting to win fights, McGregor talked about wanting to change the game entirely. When he stepped into his first professional MMA bout in 2008, making just a few €100, McGregor was already thinking bigger. He wasn't just training to be a fighter. He was studying how to become a phenomenon. He watched boxing legends like Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather, learning that the fight begins long before you step into the ring.
The one, the only, the notorious Conor McGregor!
What separated McGregor from every other fighter wasn't just his left hand. It was his understanding that in the entertainment business, attention equals money. While other fighters focused solely on technique and conditioning, McGregor was developing something far more valuable: a persona. He understood a fundamental truth that the MMA world had ignored. People don't just buy fights, they buy stories, they buy personalities, they buy drama. And McGregor was about to give them all three in abundance. His famous prediction game began early. "I'm gonna knock him out in the first round," became his signature promise. But here's the genius part. He actually delivered on these predictions with scary accuracy, turning his mouth from a liability into his greatest weapon. McGregor didn't just talk trash, he crafted narratives. Every press conference became a theatrical performance. Every interview became a commercial for his next fight. He understood that in the social media age, every moment was content, and content was currency. Take his infamous red panty night comment. When other fighters complained about not getting paid enough, McGregor flipped the script. He made it clear that fighting him was like hitting the lottery. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be his opponent, not just for the competition, but for the payday that came with sharing the stage with the Conor McGregor show. His fashion choices, his walk, his one-liners, everything was calculated to generate buzz. The three-piece suits, the custom-made watches, the luxury cars. McGregor was selling a lifestyle, not just a fight. He made MMA aspirational in a way that it had never been before. When McGregor joined the UFC in 2013, the promotion was successful but still relatively niche. Then McGregor arrived and everything changed. His debut against Marcus Brimage wasn't just a fight, it was a coming-out party. The swagger, the precision, the post-fight interview where he declared that he wasn't there to take part but to take over. This was something that the UFC had never seen before. Dana White, the UFC president, immediately recognized what he had. McGregor wasn't just another fighter on the roster. He was a business revolution. Pay-per-view numbers that had been respectable suddenly became record-breaking. McGregor's fights weren't just sporting events, they were cultural moments. The numbers don't lie. Before McGregor, a huge UFC pay-per-view might do 800,000 buys. McGregor's biggest events regularly crossed the 1 million mark, with UFC 229 against Khabib Nurmagomedov becoming the highest-selling UFC pay-per-view of all time at 2.4 million buys. But McGregor's marketing genius reached its peak with something that seemed impossible: convincing the world that an MMA fighter could box Floyd Mayweather. The Mayweather versus McGregor fight was marketing alchemy, turning what should have been a mismatch into one of the highest-grossing combat sports events in history. McGregor sold the world on a dream, and in doing so, he proved that with the right marketing, any narrative could become compelling. He lost the boxing match, but he won something far more valuable. He proved that he could transcend sports entirely. The fight generated over 4.3 million pay-per-view buys and reportedly earned McGregor around $100 million. More importantly, it established him as a legitimate crossover star who could command attention in any arena. McGregor's marketing mastery extended far beyond just promoting fights. He built a business empire that leveraged his personal brand. His proper number 12 Irish whiskey became one of the fastest growing whiskey brands in the world, eventually selling for hundreds of millions of dollars. His August McGregor clothing line, his various endorsement deals, his social media presence with over 40 million followers across platforms, McGregor had transformed himself from a fighter into a multimedia brand. He understood that his fighting career had an expiration date, but his brand could last forever. Every business venture was connected to his core persona, the confident, successful, luxury-loving Irishman who came from nothing and achieved everything through sheer will and self-belief. So, what is the McGregor marketing formula that every fighter now tries to copy? First, supreme confidence backed by real results. McGregor's predictions weren't just boastful, they were accurate enough to seem supernatural. Second, visual storytelling. Every appearance was a carefully crafted image designed to communicate success and aspiration. Third, narrative creation. McGregor didn't just fight opponents, he created storylines that made each fight feel like a must-see event. Fourth, understanding the medium. McGregor was one of the first fighters to truly understand how social media could amplify every aspect of his brand. And finally, authenticity within the persona. Despite all the theatrics, there was always a core of genuine belief and charisma that made people buy into the McGregor mystique. Today, every fighter studies the McGregor playbook. Press conferences are more theatrical, social media presence is considered essential, and personal branding is just as important as fighting skills. The entire landscape of MMA marketing changed because one fighter understood that sports entertainment was the key to transcending sport itself. McGregor proved that in the modern age, being the best fighter isn't enough. You have to be the best marketer, too. He doesn't just win fights, he won the attention economy. And in doing so, he transformed MMA forever. Conor McGregor may have started as a fighter, but his true legacy is as the marketing king who showed the world that with the right combination of talent, charisma, and strategic thinking, anyone could become their own empire. In the octagon, there are winners and losers. In the game of marketing, McGregor wrote the rules, and everyone else is still trying to keep up.